Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we are playing some Jund Wildfire. Paupergeddon just happened last week, and this is the list that won the entire tournament. So we're going to be playing that, seeing how it goes. There's a couple interesting things about this list. It's by, I apologize if I butchered the name a little bit, Jan Plachi. The most interesting thing about this list is that there's no makeshift munitions in it, which has been a one-of staple in the deck since its inception, and I don't think I've seen a list before that didn't play it. So pretty interesting. But we're also bringing back some older tech since the deck has shifted to often include things like Gixian Infiltrator. We've kind of shied away from playing like Nyxborn Hydra just because there's not room to play everything. But here we are back with 2 Nyxborn Hydra, as well as a Blood Fountain, which is another card that had been out of the deck for a little while. And then we also have Pulsa Marasa, which is a card that you see sometimes, but not always. Otherwise, it's pretty standard here. Refurbs and Chrysalis. We have a split of 3 Lembas, 3 Wellspring, which I do think is interesting. Usually, I think I like more Wellspring because you draw more additional cards when you sacrifice it to an Eviscerator's Insight or Fanatical Offering, but the Scry and the life gain can be pretty relevant for certain matchups. We also, of course, have Cleansing Wildfire, Cast Downs. We're playing 3 Karks, 2 Toxin Analysis main deck, which I really like. I think people going away from Toxin in the main deck has been a bit of a mistake, so I like to see them here. And we have 3 Nile Spell Bombs. I took this exact list from the winner. I will say I am very much on the side of 21 lands in Jund Wildfire. I resisted the urge to add a Bojuka Bog here, but we're still on just their 20 land package, which is pretty much the standard that you'll see, the standard 20 lands, which is 4 of each bridge in red, 6 basics with 2 forests, 1 mountains, 3 swamps, 4 twisted landscape, and 2 vaults of whispers. Then our sideboard, also pretty standard here: Fairy Macabres, Duress, Breath Weapon, Pyroblast, some Weather the Storms, Troublemaker Roof, and a Terminate. So let's take this for a league and see how we do. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. I've written a comprehensive guide on how to play White Weenie in Pauper, including my ideal stock list, over 30 sideboard matchups, and a sideboard cheat sheet, which gives you a very easy snapshot view and what to sideboard for every single matchup. I also have guides for Black Sack and Esper Affinity. Each guide is only $15, and if you buy one, you will get all future updates that I ever make to that guide for free. I also offer coaching, so if you're interested in upping your Pauper game for any of the decks that I'm very proficient in, or if you're interested in having me play your deck in a future video, you can do a deck donation, which is the only way you'll ever see me playing Cycle Storm or Flickertron. A rare weekend stream, indeed. Not usually what I'm doing, but this week was extremely busy, getting back from Pauper Genesis on Monday night, and then needing to do both the Pauper Genesis and the Paupergeddon reports. Wanting to get them both finished this week. Didn't really have time to stream during the week, but wanted to make sure to still get a stream in. And thanks, Shadeblade, for that subscription for 3 months in a row. Thanks so much for that. Marsh really said, nice, another reason to play Jund Wildfire. I was thinking already that it's been a couple of weeks since I played Wildfire, and was like, oh, what decks am I going to play this week? What decks am I going to play on stream? And then Jund Wildfire won Paupergeddon, and White Weenie got second. And I was like, well, darn, twist my arm. I guess I'll play some of those decks, since I have to. Weekend stream. Glad everyone's excited for the weekend stream. All right, here we are. Round 1. And we got... I'm going to keep... It's an acceptable hand. Not the best thing ever. Still leading on bridge for sure. If I get another land that I can, and I don't need to use Spellbomb in the matchup, I can crack it with Fanatical Offering for an extra card. And against fairies, we're not going to need a Spellbomb. So yeah, as long as I hit another land, I'll be good. I would love like a green-red bridge right here, because then I could play Spellbomb, develop that, and then also Fanatical Offering next turn. Whereas this is a little worse. I think I'm just gonna Toxin their Fairy Seer. Against fairies, Toxin is not that good. Death Touch and Lifelink are just not that relevant. And if I don't draw a land here, I'm really going to want to draw some cards, which might be with Offering, or I might just crack the Clue. But yeah, I think I just want to use my mana there. So they are Dimir. I would assume Control version, because that's been pretty popular lately, so we might just see a Ninja of the Deep Hours here, and we will, which is pretty annoying. Would Toxin still be good against Dimir Face since they've got ground creatures? Yeah, it's not unusable in the matchup. It's just not going to be that beneficial. They do have ground creatures. They're going to have ninjas, augurs, Thorn of the Black Rose. All of those are only 2 or 3 toughness, so you can kill them pretty easily with a Kark. They also might play Mystics and Gurmag Anglers, although to be honest, those are both out of fashion a little bit right now. so I wouldn't expect it, in which case it won't be hard to wipe their small creatures. And we just have 2 Chrysalis in hand that I know will be able to block those ground creatures. I think while they're tapped out, we are going to take a hit from this Ninja again, but I can't do anything about that. I think we're just going to draw 3, try to make sure we hit that land drop, which haven't guaranteed yet. But I would like to start slamming Chrysalis to block here. Howdy, howdy, Marsh. What's up, Aubrey? It was nice to meet you at Pauper Genesis. How are things going? Is this the Gixianless version that spiked Geddon? Yes, it is. So, Gixianless and also makeshift munitions-less, which I thought was pretty interesting. So if we don't get a land here, okay, that's interesting. They're going to discard. We know they have a Fairy Seer, so they want to hold up Counterspell, I assume, as opposed to like playing a Fairy Seer and having a Spell Stutter. They really want to have like a counter for a Chrysalis or whatever else. Neat. From the point of view of someone who plays Fae, this version is what I'm usually hoping my opponent is on. Yeah, I gotcha. I understand that. All right. So I could go for a Wildfire. I feel like that's going to get countered. But if they use a full counterspell on it, it's not the worst thing ever. They could have a Spell Stutter Sprite for a 1-drop. So I don't want to lead on that. Was the Vlogish tournament recap just because Pauper Genesis was special, or will you start doing that more regularly? Because I thought it was a welcome addition. It was, the intention was doing it as a bigger thing because Pauper Genesis was special and a bigger tournament. I was gone for the whole weekend as opposed to like a day. So yeah, but I do think it made the video a lot more interesting. So I might try to do it more. I don't know if I'm going to do it for like every day, like win-a-duels and 1Ks. I might. Really depends. But certainly any bigger tournaments I'm going to be doing it at. I feel like, I mean, I could go for an Offering. That gets countered, and then I land like a Krark. That doesn't do much. I think I want to go for a Wildfire. I guess if I play a Spell Stutter, or excuse me, if I play a Spell Bomb and they counter it, then I can get my Wildfire off, assuming they don't have a Spell Pierce. Maybe that's fine. I'm going to walk into a Spell Stutter, yeah, because I figured they might not do anything about it. In which case, I think I just want to pass and either cast down or Offering in their upkeep. Probably cast down, or I guess if they tap out here. They used blue, which means they don't have Counterspell. I mean, I'll try to cast this down. They could still have Dispel, but I don't know. List from the champion for my country, Czech Republic. Yeah, it is indeed. All right, they got their island. I don't know if we fell into their trap or something, but the fact that they didn't leave up double blue when they clearly were holding up counterspell is kind of interesting. Maybe that was just a mistake. How do you pronounce the name? March wasn't brave enough to try. Yeah, I didn't want to butcher it in Paupergeddon report. I did actually try to pronounce it earlier in this video. I said Jan Plachi. I don't know if that's right. All right, now we can get Spell Stuttered, which is pretty annoying. I guess we'll go for a Lembus, just see if they want to. I assume so. Yeah, I could Krark, but that doesn't do anything. I guess if they go for Ninja, I could Sacrifice, but that doesn't seem good enough. I think I'm just going to crack this, try to get a land. Still no. I also figure if they are on Gurmag Angler, that can prevent that for a little bit. As long as I hit the ability to cast Chrysalis, I think I'm going to be okay. Doing all right, trying to figure out what decks I want to get reps with, other than Black Sack. Genesis made me realize I need more variation. Yeah, I get you. Definitely good to have a bit of variety for when one deck is not amazing in the format. I mean, if they go for Ninja now, they'll be tapping out, so I don't really expect that. Yeah. All right, there we go. So I could Chris. They definitely have a counterspell for it, but it would still let me block the Augur if I want. But I don't really think that's that great. I think I want to Wildfire and Refurb, so they can only counter one of these, ideally. I guess they could have like Red Blast main or Blue Blast main deck, which would be crazy. All right, so now we get a Refurb. I'm going to map onto it to try to grow it to survive these fairies. Okay, or if I just draw a land, it's not the worst thing ever. Having a lot of fun on that Pingertron list, the top 4 again, though. Yeah, that list looked very interesting. Extract, okay. They're only on 2 cards. See if there's a Ninja here. No. Ooh, that's good. So that lets me Chris with Fanatical Offering still up. So if they kill this, I could sack it, or maybe I could chump with a spawn or whatever. What's up, Ben? Yes, snuff out at the end step. You could be doing this because they have a counter spell, but I think it makes sense to go for an Offering here then. Maybe I should just let it go and then play another Chrysalis so this Chris can get even bigger. They have a Sprite. That's annoying. They are out of cards, so if they don't draw well, that'll be good. It's like Ian in English, and the surname is pronounced the same as in Loch, as in Loch Ness Monster. Gotcha. I think we're not blocking, so it'd be like Ian Plocky? Plocky? All right, so we're dying, but we're not in a terrible spot. We can play Chris and then Blood Fountain, hoping Chris doesn't get countered or die here. First thing he said is correct. Okay, nice. Got there. They did get another snuff out. That's annoying. That means we're taking 3 from the sprites. Well, the fairies. I am going to block the augur. They're not going to attack with the augur. That's weird. Okay, we'll take 3. Thorn. I mean, I guess that's a little less weird, but still. So I probably just need to buy back both Chris's. Oh, actually, I could buy back Refurb plus Chris. That might be better for... Yeah, and then I can play them both. That's 2 blockers for these, 2 blockers for these. Yeah, I think that's my best bet. There's no way I can do it where I actually get counters on the Chris, so I'm just going to sack these like that. Make them discard their card first, on the off chance it's a Force Spike or something. Brainstorm. Although if it's a Force Spike, it would still prevent me from playing Crystal, so that'd be bad. I guess I'd probably just let this get countered, actually. Otherwise, I would kind of die. I mean, if we can survive here, I can... next turn Krark to wipe the ground creatures, including the Death Toucher, and then I can maybe get the Monarch with Chris, although I need to also find a way to not die to all these fairies. They drew a Lorien. Yo, what's up, materials? Yeah, Force Spike wouldn't hurt if you referred Blast because you'd have spawns. Yeah, that's a good point. There's like a 1 in a million chance they have a Force Spike because it's a pretty bad card for a control deck, but you're right. That would have been the way to do it, actually, if that was specifically what I was trying to play around. Okay. I felt like they should attack with everything or, like, nothing. So them only doing, like, 1 or 2 at a time is a little weird. But if they attack like this, it's not bad for us. We get to eat and trade with the sprites, chump, crack a clue. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess if they're going to draw all their snuff outs, it makes things a lot more difficult. Okay, so I think we're just going to block these and take this then. Try to keep the refurb. So I could Krark, wipe their ground creatures. That doesn't deal with the Seer, though. Go for a Lembas. Don't need a land. Wellspring, I guess, is fine. Problem is we're dead to fairies here if we don't have something else. So I guess we'll see if we draw a Toxin here. If not, I guess I'm not dead to fairies because of this Lembas. So I guess I shouldn't sack the Lembas. And I could attack. Don't think that's really where we want to be. I guess I force them to trade. It's the same as if they're attacking me, except that I get a card if they don't block. Yeah, we'll just attack. Yeah, that's what I figured. So we'll go to 5. No Ninja. I guess we'll Wildfire. Drawing way too many lands. We got a Hydra. If I play it here, it's just going to be a 1-2, but I guess it blocks. It's either that or I wait till next turn, but then I'll already taken 2 damage, so then I'll need another blocker. I mean, I'm very sure we're dead, but I think we do this just on the off chance. They don't have a removal spell or anything. We can stabilize, and then maybe we can draw another Chris or something. There's a counterspell. And if they got a Ninja, we are dead. Looks like they do. Yep. Mukatai. All right. They drew a lot better than we did, so I'm not really upset we lost that game. Krark is medium. Toxin is not really needed. This would be a good one for munitions, I will say, but that's okay. Hydra will be good, though. We don't need spell bombs. Breath Weapon's not like the best against them, but it's okay. Duress is fine. Like, I probably want to have at least 1 Krark. I'm not sure we need more than 1. I don't know. We'll do that. What deck are you up against? Dimir Fairies. Control variant. What a terrible deck. Who would play that? All right, here we go. I mean, we have some decent value, and we are a control versus control matchup. Well, we're not control. We're mid-range / control, whatever. But if they get to a fast fairy start like before with ninjas, it's pretty bad. We can do Blood Fountain turn 1, turn 2. If they don't leave up like a Dispel, I can immediately draw 2. And it's not an amazing hand, and certainly if they were more of an aggro deck, I would not be keeping this, but I think it's okay here. So I'll go for a Fountain. Yeah, see, they always tap out turn 1. 2 to the top. I would like to draw fewer lands. There we go. Some good ones. Wildfire is going to be not next turn, unfortunately. They could Ninja, then I get a Refurb through, which could block the Ninja, so that's not the worst thing ever. I got the Moonstrucker Hacker, okay. I guess they could have an Annul or something then. Alright, just replay the Seer. What would be our best draw? I mean, for this turn, I'm not really sure what else we're going to do except for Refurb. I already have green, so I guess I'll just play this. For next turn, obviously a Chrysalis would probably be our best. Would be pretty strong. Just in with the hacker. I mean, I think I'm fine with this trade. This could trade later for like an actual bigger ninja, and this is now just looting, but I'd rather they don't loot. Oh, especially if they're going to miss their land drop. All right, Duress gets spell stuttered, but it does make it so Wildfire doesn't. So I think that's probably worthwhile. We don't have anything else to do this turn anyway. So like this would give them a 2-for-1, but then we get to 2-for-1 with the Wildfire. Yeah, I wish we had like a breath weapon in response, but we do not. I guess just more black is probably for the best. I know we started with 5 lands in hand. Right. Yeah, 5 lands plus we tutored 1 out. So I guess we've only drawn 3. That's pretty annoying. Bog hit our insight and our refurb, but still, drawing 3 lands after we already had 5 is quite a few. I also have a ninja for the sprite. I mean, I would love like a Fanatical Offering into Chrysalis and Breath Weapon or something. Okay, I'll just take a Chrysalis. That's fine. They don't currently have a Swamp for a Snuff Out. That could change, though. Or they could just have a Cast Down. Brainstorm. Brainstorm after they already played an island. Means they can't hit a Swamp this turn. How many lands do we play in the deck? Only 20. We've seen a lot of them. But we can cycle the landscape. Hopefully we draw something different. Okay, that's not bad. It's nice you experiment a bit playing these spicy brews. Yeah, I agree. I try to keep it fresh. I could play Chrysalis, but then I'm not holding a Pyroblast for a counterspell. Don't think there's a reason to. We're already kind of stable. This Dimir Fairies list seems pretty good. You should try playing that sometime. I don't know if it would be my play style. I guess I could give it a try. Hey, just for another new Moto player, how do you undo what you tapped to float? Control Z is undo. That's really good. So, yeah, so I have the mana to... Okay, so if I go for Chrysalis, they could counterspell. If they counterspell, they're tapped out, and I get to also Breath Weapon. That's really good. Yeah, so let's just make sure we tap right. Chris. They can't Spell Stutter this. I almost wish they could, because then I could just Breath Weapon. But yeah, we get to Pyroblast. And I could Breath Weapon here so that I don't lose these spawn, but I'd rather just grow both our guys, I think. So do this. While they're tapped out, we'll Breath Weapon. Well, tapped out a blue, hit for 6. Now we're in a very good spot. They could have a Snuff Out. Yeah, we just win the game there. There's no way you could top the Swiss and Pauper Genesis or something with Blue Black Fae. Yeah, that doesn't sound likely, if only. The turntables turned. They certainly did. Breath Weapon was really good there. So that's the thing about Breath Weapon in this matchup. It can be really, really good because if all they have is Fae and Ninjas, it wipes everything. But if they have gotten a Thorn of the Black Rose, a Murmuring Mystic, if they just have a bunch of Augurs, it doesn't do a lot. So it's worth bringing in usually, but it's also not something to like fully rely on like you would against, you know, Rally or something. This I don't really love. I could play Bridge. Turn 2, I need to landscape, sack for black. Turn 3, I could play another bridge and play like a refurb. I have nothing to sacrifice with this. Cast down's fine. Hydra, I don't think this is good enough. Let's get rid of that. Hello, friend. How's it going? This one is decent. Kind of tough to figure out what to get rid of, though. I want to turn to a Wildfire, but they're going to have Counterspell, maybe even Spell Stutter up already. Certainly Blue Blast is a possibility. I mean, it could be Duress, it could be Chrysalis because we're far from that, or it could be Blood Fountain. But the Fountain helps me get to the refurb, so I don't think it's that. I don't think it's any of these 3. So I think it's Duress or Chrysalis. Chris is obviously better if we hit our land drops, and if the Wildfire resolves, but Duress is better if it doesn't. I think we're going to go for the Duress. All right, no 1-drop is decent, because that means I don't have to worry about Spell Stutter for 2 this turn. If they just leave up Counterspell mana, I will have to be worried about that. So I think I just go for Wellspring. If they want to counter it, it's the least... It's the thing that I care about the least, I guess. They have an Annul or a Sabotage. Brainstorm, okay. This also draws us a card, so it'll hopefully help find our 3rd land. It adds to our affinity count. All right, Pyro's not bad. If we don't draw a land, it doesn't do a ton here, but Cycle Alorian after their Brainstorm. Oops. Yeah, they get an island there. Just pass the turn. So Strata, I've been asking around. I've been playing with Grixis, Eidolons a lot. Really don't want to run like 11 blasts in the sideboard. Not out of budget as much as greed. Thoughts, prayers. I mean, you don't have to run, like 11 is a lot. You definitely don't have to run 11 blasts. I think a playset of each is pretty standard in like a multicolored deck like that. It really depends on the list. You know, if you're a list that's already really geared to beat blue decks, maybe you don't need a lot of Pyroblasts. And if you're already got tons of life gain and board wipes in the main deck, maybe you don't need the blue blast as much. If you're not geared to beat either of those, then I would say going below like a playset of each blast is probably not wise. Obviously, I want to resolve a Wildfire here, but it's the most susceptible thing to interaction. Hydroblast, Counterspell. Theoretically, if they're on Sabotage, they could even bounce the bridge, although I could just replay it so it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think I just want to do another Wellspring, probably. Or I could do, like, Fountain, but Fountain gets Spell Stuttered, and then I can crack my Landscape. I do want to crack the Landscape, but I think I'm just on another Wellspring here. It's my best shot to... It's, like, innocuous, so they might just let it resolve again. But it's also my best shot at hitting my land drop this turn, I think. There's another Brainstorm. I guess I'm just modeling off of Grixis Affinity and how they run 11 in the board. I will say they running 11 is like Luffy, yes, the best player in the format for that deck. But most Grixis Affinity pilots, in my experience, run like 8 or 9 blasts as opposed to 11. And yeah, just because you're the same colors doesn't mean you need the exact same sideboard, right? Because you need more blue blasts in Affinity as ways to counteract Cast into the Fire and Smash to Smithereens and Gorilla Shaman, any red cards that are going to blow up your lands. You don't need that as much if you're not an Affinity deck, right? So it's not a bad idea to model it after another deck, a meta deck that has the same colors, but it's not going to be 1-to-1 for sure. All right, we got our bridge. Fountain, crack the land, and hold blast later. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I just didn't like, I don't like playing a 1-drop here because then they just get free spell stutter value. Now that we got the bridge, I can do a refurb for 1 and crack our landscape so that we can have our better mana. This is going to eat a counter spell or an annul, but then I can get it back later with a fountain if I push that through. I think we'll do this. Oh, you're a Wildfire deck? Yeah, I mean, still, even being a Wildfire deck, like Jund doesn't have to care about artifact hate as much as Affinity, right? Like, to some degree for sure, but not 100%. I'm very surprised that resolved and then wasn't killed. What on earth do they have at hand? I don't want to send a list. What's your rates for stuff like that again? I'm a little confused by the statement, but for like a deck donation, it's $20 if that's what you're asking. All right, we got 2 red already, 1 green. I'm gonna get a second black source. Since you're a Nidolans deck, I would definitely consider a lot of annuls, steel sabotages to stop the grave hate. Yeah, that's true. Although since you're also red, you could also just do like actual artifact removal. But of course, if they get a spell bomb or a relic on board, they could blow up your graveyard, and having the ability to counter it would help that. All right, I have no idea what's going on in their situation. Maybe they just have a bunch of spell stutters and they're really trying to hold out for countering 1-drops. Maybe they have a bunch of Hydroblasts and spell stutters. They could have a Lorien that they don't want to cycle, and they could have ninjas that they don't want to hard cast. Those are the cards I'm thinking they have. I could attack. I am opening myself up to like spell stutter into ninja. Is it that bad if that happens? It's not great, but so I don't want to start with a 1-drop because that leads to spell stutter. I could go for a Wildfire. I feel like there's going to be a Hydroblast. I'm not going to want a Pyro because that would let them spell stutter. All right, I'm going to go for the Wildfire, but I'm just going to let it resolve. I'm going to let it get countered if they have a counter spell, and they don't. What on earth are they sitting on? I guess I want another red just because I have all these Pyros. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Now they're going to flash one out? Okay. So I could Pyro, but then they just have another one, and that's not great. If they want to go for a Ninja, that's fine. I can cast it down next turn or whatever. Got to be a bunch of sprites. Yeah, sprites. Yeah, like I said, a lot of the situational counters is what I'm expecting. I could Pyroblast. They have a spell stutter. Then they can't go for a ninja unless they want to tap out. I guess they could also have snuff outs because I haven't presented a snuff out target. I think it's fine. They get their ninja. All right, would love a land so I can play a Chrysalis with a Pyro backup. If I don't get it, I guess I just cast down ninja. Pulse is decent. I could just Blood Fountain, and if they go for Spell Stutter, I get to Pyro it, and I can cast down the Ninja. That's pretty good, actually. Get this on the field with protection. If they don't do anything about it, I'll still go for a cast down here. Now they can Dispel or hard cast a counter, or just let it go. Yeah. I think I will counter here. I could let it go and try to block with a refurb, but if they have a cast down, it's not great. Now there's no reason to leave this back this turn. They have a lot of cards in hand, but that's mostly because they haven't done anything. Like, we have fewer, but also our board is way more stacked. So I'm not really upset about our position. I might want to pulse back this Twisted Landscape if I don't draw a land here. Scry 2 to the top. Okay, we do get the land. Oh, we're really low on time. I guess I've been taking a while. I guess I'm just slamming this then. I'm out of practice, apparently. All right, we're just going to pass then. I mean, it is like control versus control-ish deck, but should not be 5 minutes behind here. I'll certainly go for a block. Yeah, they don't even want to let that happen. Another Chris. I'm going to go for a Lembus if this resolves. I guess maybe not. I could Pyro, but they have a spell stutter for it, so that's no good. So I'm going to Lembus here, and if they want to counter this, I'll Pyro the spell stutter. I'll keep a land. We now have tons of ways to use our mana. In fact, could pulse right now. I guess I don't need to. I could Blood Fountain back to Chris's instead. That seems pretty good. Thorn from them. Mystic. Oh, well, we're certainly going to counter that. And then I actually think I'm just going to Hydra onto a spawn here. I could have done it for one more. Maybe I should have. I am trying to play a little fast, obviously. All right, they take it all. This does let them get a ninja in, but I figure if they spend their mana doing ninja stuff while I'm putting them to half their life total, that's pretty good. Bajuka Bog's really bad. I guess I waited too long on the Blood Fountain / Pulsamarasa. I mean, we're still not in a terrible spot, but man, that sucks. We know they have a Spell Stutter. No reason to start with a Duress then. Hardcast to Snuff out here? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess we'll use the mana for nothing. But them tapping out means that I can Duress them. Mostly tapping out, that is. Also, I can pulse back this Refurb and then take another card. Let's see if they have any kill spells or anything left. They might Snuff out in response, I guess, if they have one left. Go to 2, but they kill the Hydra. Yup, it's worth it. Although now I get to just Blood Fountain them both back. Oh, they have double Spell Stutter. So do this, make them discard, and I can Hydra for 1. I don't think that's worthwhile. If I could Hydra for 2, I would have. It'd be lethal. But they have 1 Spell Stutter and 1 About to Be Known Ninja that they hard cast. I mean, all they have is a Spell Stutter, and they can't counter this, so we'll just kill them, I guess. This is a 6-drop on the stack, so they can't Spell Stutter it, even if it's a 1-drop everywhere else. So I could have done some fancy play of like, oh, I'll just attack, they have to Spell Stutter, block, I pulse it back, but seeing as I know I have perfect information, I can just win the game. All right, got a little close at the end there, but we ended up taking the match. Pretty sick. All right, here we are, round 2. This hand could be a lot better if this was a Vault of Whispers, but I think I'm going to keep it still. We're against familiars. We'll see how this goes. Anything in particular you're hoping to see from the Hobbit, apart from sack support, of course? Not specifically. Oh, we did get a vault. That's so good. So we can do a turn 2 refurb. I'm trying to think of like what there could be. I mean, obviously, yeah, like support for black sack, but support for all the decks that I like Esper Affinity would be cool. But I'm not exactly sure. They tap. That's kind of interesting. I guess they really want to sack this landscape, but they could have held up a blue, which would have at least bluffed like a snap or whatever. But now I get to just cast down their familiar for free, which I think I will. Do I want a Toxin here? It makes refurb 1 mana, but I'm casting down, so it doesn't matter that much. Oh, refurb's already 1 mana. What am I talking about? Yeah, then no. I was like, oh, I only have 2 artifact lands. So, Deadly Dispute that makes a food. Yeah, that is something people have been talking about for a while. That'd be really, really good. Oh, they discard a Sunscape before I kill the other one? Perfect. Yeah, I mean, that would be a cool card. Probably wouldn't be too strong, but also more Deadly Dispute effects is a lot. Do we really need another, you know? Mystic. I did just use my cast down, so I guess that's a little annoying. I only have 1 card left. Give me another cast down. No, I guess we'll just play a Chris. I'm a Food Pest gamer, can you tell? Yeah, I was going to say that is obviously the deck that would be most improved by that. But it'd be cool. It'd be interesting for sure. Don't tell me their last card is Ephemerate. I guess they could also draw the Ephemerate here, but okay, it's not. Cool. Personally, I'd like to see a Deadly Dispute that makes a treasure. Huh, that's interesting. Never thought about that before. Let's go for a Wildfire here. Hoping for more Ring Tempsu cards. Yeah, that's a good point. I think a lot of the Ring Tempsu cards were like just on the cusp of being good enough. I guess we want another green for this Hydra to be like playable. And I think if we get a couple slightly more pushed, we could definitely get there. I'm going to go for a Toxin here. Hope that we can just kill the Mystic. Hell yeah. They didn't have a prohibit for that, so I'm going to assume they're not going to have one. And I think I'm just going to... I didn't play a land, right? Because we did Wildfire. Yeah, I'm going to sack here. I should have done that. I thought about doing that beforehand. I guess I'll map onto this for mana. Because I could gain one more life. But let's be honest. The life gain is so irrelevant in this matchup. And just in case they did have like a snap or something, I didn't want to walk into that. They just released some spoilers for the set from Amsterdam, and it looks like there's a historic type mechanic, so maybe Affinity might get some new toys. Oh, well, Affinity is a deck that really needs some new cards, because it's definitely not constantly getting new cards. All right, we get Duress, Pyroblast, maybe Fairy Macabre. I guess Krark is great, because most of their guys are on the ground. Oh, what do we cut here? Everything's good. We have this many cards I want to add. I mean, I guess Pulse we don't need because the life gain is irrelevant, and otherwise it's just a really expensive recursion. They don't even kill creatures very much, so I probably don't need either of these. Like, occasionally they might counter something, but, like, Prohibit's their main counter spell, and they got to kick that for these. I guess I probably don't need Fairy Macabre and all of these spell bombs, so maybe I don't need those. This is still a lot of cards. I mean, I guess, how much do we need Toxic Analysis? Probably a fair bit. They have pretty high toughness creatures, up to 4s and 5s, so... more than enough. Like, if we want to kill a Mystic with a Krark, we're going to need Toxin. Otherwise, we're sacking way too many cards. I could probably cut, like, Olympus because we don't need the life gain. Still 3 more cards. This is crazy. I mean, I don't have to bring in a Terminate, but it's like, kill spells are pretty good here. Same with, like, Duress. I don't have to bring that in, but... I mean, their deck is a lot of creatures, so maybe Duress is not great. Obviously, there's tons of relevant spells, too, but if I'm trying to target the creatures, and also we have some Pyroblasts already. Maybe I leave these out. Doesn't feel amazing. I guess it's maybe that or like Spell Bombs. Spell Bombs even later game. Maybe I do like a little bit of a split. I don't know. This is good enough. I mean, we have the draw 4 right here, plus we do have a Krark, which could be pretty good. Start with a bridge. Chancery. No mulligan from them. Oh, they could be playing Dust to Dust. They probably would be. So I should play Landscape instead of Vault here. Always try to play around Dust to Dust if you can. Obviously, I just played another artifact. They could Dust to Dust us, but at least we'd only be losing one artifact. They could have a Prohibit or a Snap, so Cast Down might not get there. Okay. In that case, I think I'm going to Refurb plus Krark, and then I could crack this Landscape for more black, so next turn I can go like Duress, Cast Down. If they want to Hydra this, I guess that's fine. Or Prohibit. Yeah. Another Familiar already. It's pretty scary. I guess they're doing nothing. They could have a kicked Prohibit now, but we get to Duress and then see what's up. Maybe. Meeting of Minds. Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I still have to let this resolve, because if I go for a Cast Down in response, they could have an Ephemerate. Yeah, and they do, which we're definitely taking. Preordained. They have another Familiar in hand. I guess I have 2 Cast Downs, but is it even worth killing them? They've got so many. I think I want to hit my land drop more, so let's go for this. If I'm lucky, I hit a black source, but still fine. Attack for 2. We're just hoping this Preordained doesn't find what they need, because we could be in some trouble if it does. They drew a Muldrifter. That's annoying. All right, we're going to Wildfire. I think I have so much black. I already have 3, though. I think I should grab a green, because if they do Dust to Dust this, I'm going to want it. Plus, if we get a Hydra, we're going to want it. I'll Refurb, and then I'm going to hold up one of these to try to interrupt a Ghostly Flicker or an Ephemerate. Discard a Chancery. So we know 2 of their cards, because they didn't end up casting the Preordain since they did the meeting, and found a Muldrifter. Pass the turn. Archaeomancer brings back Ephemerate. Yeah, I can't do much about that. I mean, I have a Cast Down for if they target something, but obviously if they have a counterspell, that doesn't help. All right, I'm going to be not even that risky, but I'm going to so let's leave up black here, or leave up a swamp. So I'm going to cast Chrysalis first here, leaving up 2 black. So assuming this trigger resolves before they do anything, I have double Cast Down or Offering up here. We'll swing. They're going to block. I assume go for a Ephemerate. I'm going to Cast Down. They're going to have a Prohibit or something. Meeting of Minds. Sure. Okay, that's good. They want to use that blue. Maybe they have a Ghostly Flicker. No, they would try to use it in response. All right, still leaving up a Cast Down. I mean, if they tap out for a something, and then I can just Cast Down to interrupt, and then I can slam a giant Hydra, that'd be pretty cool. Dust to Dust on 2 Familiars. It's a little annoying. I kind of want to Offering one of them. We are open to them Ghostly Flickering the Archaeomancer and a land then, but that doesn't give them infinite. It could get an Ephemerate, which could be pretty good. I think I should, though. What's your strategy versus FAMs? I feel like you have to disrupt the early game, but not having a lot of luck with that. Yeah. I'll be honest. Familiars is probably the single deck that I have the most difficulty against, no matter what I'm playing. Not to say I can't win against it, but it feels like every one of their cards is a must-answer card. Not quite Seagate Oracle, no, you don't need to kill that, but Archaeomancer, their 4-drop is really good to counter or kill. Same with their 2-drop here and their 2-drop and every single one of their spells. So it's pretty tough. My main strategy is usually kill all the Familiars, make sure that they can't get a cost reduction, because then they're just playing really overcosted cards. Seagate Oracle is kind of terrible for 3 mana. Archaeomancer is good, but 4 mana is still very expensive for it. Hard casting a Muldrifter is really tough, so they're playing a lot of expensive cards because they have Familiars. So if you can keep them off Familiars, that's my usual goal. The problem is here they had 2 and then a 3rd in hand. So it's right from the beginning, I wasn't able to kill any of them. So yeah, I could Hydra onto this for 4, hold up Pyroblast, attack for 8. I think that's probably my best bet. It's tough not holding up Cast Down, but I know one of their cards. I'm still certainly not tapping out of the Pyro, but I think this might just be worthwhile. Gives us a 2-ish turn clock. Obviously they have a lot of toughness to chump, but all right, they take 8. Yeah, so usually I think killing the Familiars is good, and that's about it. I mean, making sure to not tap out. If you tap out, they get to go wild. So almost always having some interaction up is good. Do I want to spend a Pyroblast on a Mystic? Mystic is good, but I have a Cast Down for it, and frankly, it doesn't do a ton here because I have Trample. I almost think this is bait. I'm going to let it go. Now they have a Lorien. I know one of their cards. I think I need to prevent them from drawing 3. And if they have a counterspell as their last thing, they can use it, but at least they will be tapped out. Looking at the win rates, White Weenie is atrocious into it. Very true. Most of the rest of Marsh's decks are about a coin flip. Yeah, that sounds about right. It always feels very hard fought. That's a pretty good draw because I get to grow this. Guess we do this, but I already have a black that I want to use. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, Chris, I'm going to immediately sack these to grow and Wellspring because I could get like another cast down or something. Bridge. All right, we'll grow here. Lembas, I guess we'll leave that on top. All right, 11 power. They have to block at least 6 of it. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. If that's all they have, then cast down kills them, unless they have a counter spell, but I feel like they would have countered the Pyroblast. All right, well, we'll try. I'm going to try to cast down the Familiar. That works. We trample for lethal. Nice. That was a little greedy of them, but I understand they probably thought they needed all the pieces. Like if they blocked the Mystic, they're in a tough spot. Block with Archaeomancer, same thing. Plus Archaeomancer wasn't enough. They would have needed to block with something else as well, but they could have done the bird. I don't know. You can sack one Chris to grow the other. Yes, as long as you have a way to... Yeah, it's any time you sacrifice any Eldrazi. So if you have like an Eviscerator's Insight or a Fanatical Offering, you can absolutely sacrifice a second Chrysalis to grow the first, which can be really cool and can definitely do work sometimes. Hi, Mars. It was great to see you at Paupergeddon. Thanks again for the autographs. Yeah, no problem. Remind me. I only signed a couple cards and things, but... were you the one with the Basilisk Gates or the Refurbished Familiars or something else? Refurbished Familiars. Nice. I'm glad I was able to sign such a sweet card. And it was nice meeting you. It was nice meeting everybody. Met a lot of people, which was very, very fun. I met a few people before at like some Winnaduels and 1Ks and stuff, but definitely the most people at Paupergeddon, which was sweet. All right, this one's got a lot of pretty good cards. I mean, we're going to keep this. I think I'm just getting rid of Pulse, trying to hit land drops and card draw here. If Snacker gets the axe, what's the chance that Refurb follows? I don't know. I think if Snacker gets the axe, I don't think Refurb is anywhere close to being banned right now. But if Snacker gets banned, that's going to be a pretty big meta shift. 5 meta decks are going to be affected by it. I don't think any of them are going to die off, but they're all going to shift a little bit. And so it really depends on what the meta looks like after that as to whether or not Refurb gets affected. Because yeah, currently I don't think it's close to being banned, but depends on all that. There's an Energy 2.5k in Chicago next month. That's sweet. We're so dead. Obviously I'd really like to play a Wellspring here and then draw 3, but since I got a cast down, I think I need to kill a 2 power guy and hope that they have no other creatures. I'm expecting a Bushwhacker though. Okay, Rally's a little bit less bad. We're still down to 13. I just need to find a Krark. Might be alone in this, but I don't think Snacker gets banned. I don't think you're alone in that at all. I think there's quite a bit of division on whether or not it gets banned. All right, I'm gonna Wellspring. I'm gonna play it like this so that if I get a Krark, I can play it immediately, and if not, I'll just play a Spellbomb. Yeah. I definitely was on the train of Snacker getting banned for sure in August. I think the 2 big tournaments didn't like massively change my opinion, but like maybe a little bit. So I'm not 100% sure now. All right, they synth into a Reckless Impulse, which is just wasted, which is cool. They do get an axe, so we're going to 7. They only have 2 cards left. If we can find... I mean, it's got to be Krark, because even a Chrysalis I can't play yet. So if I can find a Krark, we'll be in an okay spot. Refurb is good. We're going to want to play Refurb no matter what, so I think we play Landscape. We go for the draw 3 here. Try to find that Krark. We did not. I could crack Spellbomb. That's 1 more draw, and then I can still play Refurb if nothing else to block here. But I am dead to like 1 Galvanic Blast. Yeah, I mean, just drawing too much of our value, which is usually great if we're against not Rally. No Snackers in the top brackets of both tournaments may show what the meta can handle. There was, well, I will say there's no Snacker in the top 8 of Paupergeddon. That is true. But the winning deck of Paupergeddon was Dimir Terror and had Snackers in it. Although there was some confusion there because I believe he originally was submitting Walls Combo, and so it was listed as Walls Combo in a lot of the winning things, even though he ended up switching to Dimir Terror. So that might be why you and other people think that. But yeah, there was fairies. There were Dimir Snackers in the winning deck in Paupergeddon. Anyway, we get Weather the Storm, Troublemaker Oof, Breath Weapon, taking out Spell Bombs, Hydras, Cast Downs. I think that's probably it. I mean, Duress is not bad against them. They're like a split between creatures and non-creature spells, but I'm not sure they're better than anything else here. I mean, Blood Fountain's not really necessary. Pretty slow, so maybe 1 Duress over those. This one's too slow. Value, but no interaction. There we go. There's a Breath Weapon. I thought the Walls Combo name was a joke rather than a mistake. I thought it was a joke too. I could be wrong. I thought I heard that it was like, that was the goal, was to play Walls Combo, and then they didn't. but maybe it was just like a joke about it. Either way, Dimir Terror was the winning deck. All right, we're going to get rid of this. We can go Wildfire into, assuming we don't get like Cast into the Fire, we can do a Breath Weapon the following turn if we need to. Even if we do get Cast into the Fire, I'll still have 2 lands, and then I can bridge and Wildfire. We'll be in a good spot. Good-ish spot. There's an Epicure. More bridge. Yeah, so I'm going to go for a red here, a mountain. Just in case they cast this into the fire, I'll still have access to my red immediately for another Wildfire or a bridge or whatever. There's a Tomb Raider and no other plays. Well, I mean, I think we're just playing a bridge. I probably should have played the black bridge, whatever. And just passing. I can cycle the landscape if they don't play another creature, if I really wanted. I mean, Breath Weapon, like, it's not bad Breath Weapon, but it's also not the best Breath Weapon. I think I am going to take this and then cycle a landscape here. I mean, I could wipe the board at the end step here, but if I get another land, I might be able to, like, Breath Weapon Weather the Storm. Thoughts on the Impact Tremors deck? Super sweet. Always liked that style of deck, and the fact that it was able to make top 16 at Pauper Genesis was really cool. Yeah, I think we just pass. I don't expect them to play anything until they've attacked. So I'm going to go for a Breath Weapon, and then they'll probably play 1, and if they draw a land, maybe 2 spells, and then I can weather for like 9. So this one I'm not going to wait till the end step. I could and probably could get another creature, but then I'd take 4 damage. I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, we'll just go back to 20 here. So let's Lembas. Chris is great. I kind of want to play Chris this turn, but I actually want to save this landscape to cycle. So I think I'm just going to Wildfire for another source here. This only really goes bad. I guess I might as well crack the Lembas. No, we can crack Lembas later. This only really goes bad if they like get a land, Burning Tree like 2 or 3 times into a rally. Then not having Chrysalis will be a mistake, but looks like that's not going to happen. Will Lupika is my goat. Love that guy. He put so much work into that Tremors deck. That's sick. And he's a Mets fan. Nice. Bolt, they got rid of a Smash to Smithereens, so that's cool. Another Wildfire. I guess let's see what we turn up from the Wildfire. Perfect. We've drawn a lot of lands, but as soon as we get some card draw, it's going to be pretty good. I bought into this deck so I can live up to my name instead. Yeah, I did think it was interesting. Not Gruul Then Die, saying you're a Golgari Food Pest player. That's not allowed. They do have multiple Burning Tree Emissaries into a rally. I mean, pretty good. If they attack, I get to block, I think just like this. Could do another to save 1 more life, but don't necessarily need to. I was on Gruul Rant for a while, but the deck didn't love me back. I understand. That is tough. All right, let's cycle. Try to find something. Okay, Pulse is pretty good. We don't have a creature in our yard, but it's still decent. We'll duress. There's got to be something, right? Okay, another rally. Galvanic is only 2. And actually, if I block with Spawn, if they get another artifact, I block with Spawn, and they try to kill the Chrysalis, I can actually just pulse it back, so I'm not too worried about that. I think I'll take the rally. Obviously, finding a board wipe would mean the rally would be less relevant, but I think I can survive what's on board, plus their burn here pretty easily. They are going to attack. Block. I will go for a block here. So here they might just throw their spells, 1 or 2 of their spells to kill the Chrysalis, maybe just a bolt to trade. But then I get to just pulse it back, and that's just game, I think. Pretty good value. Yup, there's the bolts. And come on back to me. Made my online identity when Pioneer was a supported format. Looking forward to 27 when I played Gruul Boats, then Gruul Prowess. Yeah, I gotcha. Hoping for a return someday. Here's hoping it'll happen. All right, Lembas is good. Yeah, they just concede. Like I said, that pulse on the Chris was too good. All right, let's make sure to have another hand. I guess the big thing there was our opponent was on 1 land, but the Breath Weapon certainly helped. We got Krark. We also saw Smash to Smithereens, which I'm hoping means they don't have any casting at the fire. They still could. They could have a split, but ideally it means our bridges are safe. They do have the Tomb Raider, but they did mull to 6. Bit of a trade-off there. Okay. Pauper's been a great way for me to try out other archetypes without breaking the bank. Food Pest uses a different part of the human brain. Yeah, I agree. Great format for not having to spend too much money. And yeah, Food Pest is another deck I play a good amount, and it's goofy for sure. All right, they are hitting hard. That's a pretty good draw. Oof. This is tough. Obviously, I really want to play Wellspring before I start sacrificing things to Krark or to the Oof, but I'm taking another 5 already. I could just be dead at double Galvanic. That sounds really bad. I could play Krark, but I only have 1 to sacrifice, 1 land, and then I could chump and then ping off the Percussionist. That's not great. Could also just play the oof without bargaining my land. Or I could play it and bargain the land to exile the Percussionist. Then I get to trade for the Tomb Raider. I think that might be my best play. I'm then 2 turns off the Krark unless I draw my mountain naturally, but this is just a crazy fast start. I think I have to. I could also exile the Axe, but my hope is I can get rid of the Percussionist without them getting a card, and then I can trade with the Tomb Raider. Just a really clean 2-for-1, but I'm expecting this to probably eat a Bolt and then take 4 or whatever. Okay, Reckless Impulse, Mountain, Percussionist. That's not too bad. I love how in Paper Pauper people often have spare decks to loan out so you can explore. Yeah, I always have a couple on me, but like my friend David has 1.5 million all the time. All right, so this is unfortunate. I'm pretty sure I have to play a Landscape and just sack it for red, and then I take 5, hope to not die, and then next turn I can Krark with a Wellspring. It's either that or I play a Wellspring here, and I'm hoping to find untapped red or something, and that's just not likely to happen, so we got to do this. But hey, first time seeing you live on Twitch. Greetings from a regular YouTube subscriber. Appreciate you hanging out and being able to catch the stream. Another Percussionist. All right, so we're down to 3. If they have a Bolt, we're dead. I really need to draw Toxin Analysis, and also for them to not turn things up. Okay, Breath Weapon's really good. I mean, I'm still so dead, right? They have 4 draws to find just a Lightning Bolt. That's still the same. So I could do that, or I could Wellspring, Krark. I have to chump. I think it's better to use the Breath Weapon here. If there's any shot of me winning, I think it's better to just Breath Weapon, because then I actually killed the Tomb Raider. But like, they just bolt me and I'm dead. Or Galvanic. Yep, not a great matchup. Well, I mean, we have the tools to beat them, so I think it's probably an okay, maybe even favored for us matchup, but it's also, if we're just a little too slow, we're going to get got. And that Axe did tons of work. Made it so we died way too quickly. Why do people cast spells in opponent's upkeep? There's a number of reasons. I would say the main reason is because if your opponent has a response, they're going to have to use their mana. And if you do it on your own turn, they're using the mana that they're about to replenish on their next turn. Whereas if you do it in their upkeep, they have to use the mana that they need for that turn cycle. So if they have, say, 4 mana, then if they have 4 mana and I'm trying to play around a counterspell, right? So I cast a kill spell in their upkeep, they have to use 2 mana to counterspell my card, and now for their turn they only have 2 more mana to use. Whereas if I did it on my own turn and they have that 2 mana up, they can counterspell and then they still untap and have 4 mana. So it's really to make sure to use up their mana on their turn. The reason it's in the upkeep is it's also before they draw a new card. So if you wait until their main phase or whatever, you're still taxing their mana on that turn, but they've had the ability to draw an extra card, which could then be a counterspell or a protection spell or anything. So you're trying to tax their mana on their turn while also not giving them the ability to have drawn more answers. There's a number of other reasons why, but that is the main thing. We're on 5 here. I think I just have to keep this and hope to draw a red source. If I'm against something that Toxin Krark is really good, I should keep this, but I kind of want to just get rid of Toxin. Because if I get a red source, I can play the Krark and then sacrifice it is my goal. If I get a bridge red source, I can Wildfire. This hand is so bad. But we're on 5. I think, like, I would mulligan this on a 7, but I don't think so on a 5. I mean, I kind of want to just keep all the card draw potential, like, value. But if we have no interaction and we go up against elves or whatever, Krark's going to be really good. But I don't have anything to sacrifice to Krark anyway. I think we got to do this and just hope that we're more of a mid-ranger control matchup and that we draw the right cards. Okay. Tron. I mean, that does give us extra utility for our Wildfire. We, of course, draw a land that's one of the only ones that's not going to help us here. Also, because why play on my turn when I can play on your turn? It's our turn. Exactly. Well, they have turn 3 Tron, so if I get a mountain here, I'm definitely blowing up a land. But I also only have 1 mountain in the deck. Perfect. I mean, we're probably just dead. Okay, they're playing pylons, which means that they don't actually have a bunch of colorless spells for 7 mana or less. Unfortunately, I think we're already desperate enough I have to sack this vault. Yeah, I mean, like, only that Wellspring is actually relevant enough. So it's the right thing to do, even though sacking a land is brutal. We got to cast down. I'm assuming we're going to see, like, a Maelstrom Colossus or something here. Or a Brambleworm. Yeah, there's the Colossus. Or both, maybe. Fiery Cannonade, well, that's nice. Bit of a waste. And put it back in their deck. I think they should know we're a Jund, and that's not very good against us, so I think they should just cast it. But all right, we're going to go for an Insight here. I'm doing it now because if I find a bridge, I really would need to play it tapped. Even though I'm going to have to discard, I really need this red source down stat. We could still win. I don't think we need this Hydra. If they have another Colossus, it's going to be tough, but they don't have Trample, so I can chump them with Chrysalis spawn, that is. Ancient Stirrings. Okay. Prism. That's fine. Candy Trail. Okay, so not a terrible turn for us. They have another tower. Kind of forgot that they had a land drop, so that's still 6 mana. Okay, still not playing anything else enormous. Crack a Candy Trail. Okay, so I could play Chrysalis, but I kind of want to blow up their land. I have another Wildfire for next turn, so I think I shoot, I mean, obviously a mine or a power plant. I don't think there's anything to indicate either one. I guess they tutored up the mine, so it's less likely that they had one initially, like had a second one. So I think we blow up the mine and then I cast this down. Then they're down to 4 or 5 mana, maybe 6. Obviously they could get Tron again. Yeah, I think this is what we're doing. And then next turn I can Wildfire again if they do reassemble Tron. Tap for 2 in response. Okay. And I don't want to take 7, so I think we just need to cast down, even though I'd like to get a tap land down. Make sure they get rid of their mana, and then we'll cast this. Playing a 3/3 Boulder Branch is like the best thing we can see. They don't even have any land drop. Okay, so I could Wildfire this, which means that there's no way without like a crop rotation that they could even hit Tron next turn. Or I could just play Chrysalis. Yeah, I think we get a Chris down. And then our second bridge here. Because this can block, so they can't really attack. Unless they draw, again, crop rotation or find their Tron. They also don't have 7 mana, which means they can't Pinnacle Killship or anything. There's a Candy Trail. 1 to the top is not a good sign. Feels like they found it. Or maybe it was just a map. Ooh, no land drop, no map. That's crazy. What do they keep then? Okay, I want to play another Chrysalis, and I want to go on the offensive. What else are we doing? I guess I can play this here. I want to get as large as possible on these Chrysalis because, I mean, I'm fighting monsters. We need to. Let's go for a Wellspring. Perfect. Let's go for a Lembas. Cast down's great. We'll attack for 6. They're going to block. Okay, interesting. Trying to figure out what that means. Why would they block right away? Just because it doesn't do anything otherwise? Okay, so I could Wildfire their power plant, which makes it very difficult for them to have Tron this next turn. And then I think that might be the goal, is just keep them off Tron and then start attacking with these guys. Because alternatively, I could save the Wildfire for the mine, which is going to be the harder one for them to... Oh, they have a crop rotation response. Oh, well, that's brutal. That's what they kept. And, okay. I mean, I guess I still did keep them off Tron, so it's not a full waste, because I still made them turn a power plant into a power plant, but not the best. Another Boulder Branch. Okay. I mean, they would have had Tron otherwise and could be playing bigger guys, so I'm still okay with that Cleansing Wildfire, even if it was not the best. Refurb is good. Let's start by drawing 3. Pulse. Do I have any creatures in the yard? I have a Hydra. Ooh, okay. So I think I want to sack this for green, pulse back the Hydra, and next turn use it, which means I can play a refurb for 1 here. Discard a Brambleworm, hit for 12, and then pass. So next turn I'll be able to do like +6 to a creature with the Hydra. Scry 2 to the bottom, crack the Candy Trail. They've still got so much life. There's a map. Okay. So sack this for our forest, pulse back Hydra, and we're gonna do this. We're hitting for 20. That's pretty good. And I made this big enough so it doesn't die to a Pinnacle Killship, because it's only 10 damage, which is obviously a lot. Kills most anything, but not right now. So they can crack their map. They have 10 mana. There's a Colossus. Into an Ancient Stirring's not going to do it because I have a cast down for the Colossus. If they hit a Brambleworm or something, maybe they could stabilize for like a turn, but that finds Urza's Tower. This is the game where we had the absolute... We mulled to 5 and had a terrible start. And they had Tron on turn 3, and we still got there. That was pretty cool. All right, so let's see. Oof is definitely good. Terminate's good. Duress is probably not great. I think Kark Toxin is good. Their graveyard, I mean, they have Brambleworm, and they have like probably a Haunted Fengraf or something. But that's kind of it for graveyard. So I'm not sure Spellbomb is really necessary. Everything else seems good. Kill spells, Toxin, Kark, Blood Fountain to buy back guys that die. Like Duress is good on turn 1 or 2, maybe, but like they're mostly creatures. So I think we do this. We have Kark Toxin and Cleansing Wildfire, but also 1 land. Oof. I mean, I can play this, crack for red, play a Swamp, play a Wellspring. I mean, I'm going to 5 if I don't want to keep this. It doesn't do anything but except draw cards, but then ideally we draw into more draw, then we hit land drops and stuff. I think I'm going to keep this. It's really not very good, but hope for the best. They also mulligan to 6, so hopefully that slows them down a little bit, but scry 1 at the top. Landscape. We're going to go red first, even though I have a Pulse of Marasa, because our deck is a lot more red than it is green. Specifically, we'd really like to have up Cleansing Wildfire early, of course. Surveil, and then they play a Stirrings. Looking for a mine or a tower. They find another power plant. That's not what they wanted. Bridge is good, but I want to start playing 2-drops. Oh, also we got a Fanatical Offering. Like, things are shaping up. We have land drops. We have card draw. Now I just need to find creatures in disruption. But also their plan is going pretty slowly. They played a ridge line here. Okay, there's green. Let's do that. Just pass with Offering. I don't want to do it now because I discard. Theoretically, they could also have like a way to exile a bridge or something. Bonder's Ornament. Okay. Probably going to want like a oof for that at some point. They do find a tower. We're going to go draw on 3 though. Get back our Hydra. Okay, not the best draws. Give me Troublemaker Oof. Alright, we'll just play this. We're going to have to discard, which is fine. I guess I get rid of a Vault. Usually I would keep the Vault. But I already have enough artifacts, and since we're not playing Makeshift Munitions, I don't need every single land to be an artifact. There's no reason to do that, so it's less susceptible to have just the swamp. They do get a map here, so Tron's online. They could play a 6-drop, which is luckily not quite scary, unless, I mean, they could play a Generous Scent. Yeah, not the worst thing ever. I do have 1 kill spell. Refurb is decent. I guess maybe I just chump with a Refurb to get it back right away with Pulse. Yeah, kind of where I'm at. They play that power plant, and they got something large. Okay, Boulder Branch. They're leaving up Bonder's Ornament, so I can make them discard 1, but they can draw another one. There's Krark. I just need Death Touch now. I really need to get rid of this ornament, because if we can run them out of cards, we'll be fine, but not going to happen if they just have that. Next turn, I could play Hydra as a 6-power creature. That would block anything. I think I'm going to cycle this on the off chance I find Toxin. Okay, Cleansing Wildfire is not bad either. I can take them away from their tower, I guess. Then they're only at 7. I mean, they still have 7 mana, but obviously it's a lot less. It's harder for them to ornament plus cast a thing is the important part. Another cast down's not bad. I don't have double green, so I guess I can't bestow here. Of course, they get a map. So tower coming right back up. They have a Colossus. All right, I just need to find Toxin, and that's fine because we just wiped the whole board. Pulsa Marasa, that's pretty good for them. They get back a tower. Okay. Over the Generous Scent is interesting. I guess I just blow up a mine if I get another Cleansing Wildfire. I think I'm taking this hit. I mean, I can just spend 3 kill spells. I would much prefer to use Krark, but 1, 2, 3. I could cycle this, and then I only have 1 kill spell unless I draw an untapped land. But I guess I could kill 1, chump, and I'm only taking 5. Or I could play Nyxborn Hydra for 6, which could block these. Yeah, I guess maybe I do that. Then I chump here. It's worse for the Death Touch, but it holds these all off for a while. All right, let's do that. Hoping they don't get a Pinnacle Kill Ship, because that would be bad. Yeah, just attack with the Colossus. I could go for a double block, but I don't really want to lose the Hydra, so I think I'm just going to chump. Do you like Jeskai Ephemerate? I like it okay. It's not my favorite. I feel like it's got a lot of interesting lines and stuff, so it feels like I should like it more. But I don't know. I think a lot of the plays are very repetitive in my experience. They do have the kill ship. So I don't know. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely not like my least favorite either. Congrats on your top 16. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. It was pretty sweet. All right, now I need Toxin really badly. That's a good draw, especially if I can find Toxin. I left them both in. Okay, that's an okay draw because it can chump a couple of these. Plus I have a kill spell, which is going to be used on the kill ship. So I'm going to chump here, chump here. I think I'm not going to block here. And I'm going to cast this down, sack this, and we'll take 5 here. Was there anything that surprised you at Pauper Genesis? Just in general, or like in terms of gameplay? Like a deck or something I wasn't expecting, or just like anything at all? I guess I'm not sure there was anything either way that was like super surprising. I don't know. It's a good question. I just can't think of anything necessarily. I mean, I wanted the easy way out, but I guess we're just gonna play a bunch of these guys. Why not map with the Eldrazi mana? Map is sorcery speed, so I could not. Otherwise, I definitely would have. I mean, we're playing this. So this is going to be a 6-7. This is going to be a 4-5. So this could block here. This still can't block anything profitably. But I can chump, eat this guy, cast this down. But I can also use some maps to try to grow this to be even bigger to make it so that their attacks are bad in general. Fanatical Offering we're leaving on top. So now this could be a 7-8. So I could block. I guess I could grow this too, so it could block here. So let's do that. So this is now a 5-6. So I can block here, chump, block here. So I have everything covered, assuming they don't have another kill spell or something. I'm still losing to this Bonder's Ornament. I really need a Troublemaker for it. But anything in general that surprised you, it being the first big American Pauper event, I wonder if anything will change or if there will be any more huge events like this in the future. That's a pretty good draw. Yeah, I mean, it was. I think it was very. I mean, I guess the thing that surprised me was it was extremely smooth, considering it was the first time they had done anything of this size. I wasn't expecting it to be terrible, but I also was expecting there to be some more hiccups, and like rounds went by very smoothly, like transitioning from one round to the next, and everything like that was done extremely well. I guess that might be the biggest shock. Yeah, I don't know. I think that might have been it. All right, so just counting again. This can eat this. This can block here, and I can chump both of these. So I don't have to use a removal spell, though I probably want to, just to get one of these guys gone. So block like this. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. We can just move to damage. I bet the number of Jund decks between EU and US surprised him. Yeah, I mean, I guess that was another thing I mentioned in the... they have another Boulder Branch. I mentioned in my report was that... the Paupergeddon report was that I was used to seeing a lot of big Jund numbers, and then it wasn't happening as much, and I think that's because I was expecting Italy numbers and meta, and then we weren't getting that, obviously. So yeah, that definitely a lot fewer, well, a lot fewer Jund players than I was expecting. All right, here's Chris. Again, I hope there's a big US West Coast event in the future. That would be sweet. I would also be a fan of that. I guess I want to grow the smallest of these guys. So I'm going to sack this, grow here. Nyxborn Hydra, yes please. I don't think I can attack quite yet, but next turn. I was going to sack this landscape, but now I'm not going to. The coverage definitely had room for improvement. I would agree, there definitely could be some improvement there. They did have, oh, that's so brutal. I can only get this to be 10 toughness. I mean, they, like, to be fair, they didn't have like professional casters doing it or anything. I think it was just some people from their local league in New York. But I agree that could definitely be somewhere they could try to improve for the future. Not much gameplay commentary and a lot of anti-combo and pro New York City locals bias. Yeah, I would agree there should be a little bit more impartiality. And yeah, certainly like I'm not obviously the biggest fan of combo, but also if I was on a coverage team like that, I'd probably be not as blatant about that. All right, this can block here, this can block here, this blocks here, and I can cast down this guy. These Chrysalises are writhing for sure. I agree. Turns out they're a pretty good card. Hydra is +7, but I can't just start attacking even if I put it here because, well, I could. No, if they get a guy, I'm going to be in trouble. I could just make it an 8/9. I feel like I need a giant creature though. I think I'm going to bestow here on the smaller one. I don't think I can attack here, but if I can get the Krark Toxin eventually, or just more kill spells, because if I attack here, I have a blocker, and then I'm dead to a 7-power guy, because their kill ship could attack in. So, yeah. What if you cast it as a standalone creature? Wouldn't it be an 8/9? Yeah, it would, and I was just thinking about doing that, but I think I just need to have a creature that, first of all, survives another kill ship, something that I can start attacking with eventually. There we go. This is so late. I'm going to take out the ornament because I really need them to stop drawing 2 cards a turn, even though I would love to take out like one of these guys and just start attacking. I don't know why they didn't station this up. They're at 49 life. They're not at risk of dying. Yeah, so if I cast it as a standalone creature, my ability to turn around and start killing them would be worse because I wouldn't, like, an 8/9 is bigger than any of their creatures, but just barely. Whereas if I have a 12/13, it's a lot harder for them to get through, you know? It could have been the right call. That's why I made this decision. I'm realizing Toxin Analysis, of course, would kill our own guy. I guess it would still leave our Hydra around. So that's another reason, like, that it could be good is if I do want to Toxin Analysis everything down, I'd be left with the Hydra. Of course, it'd be a 1,000,000 turn clock. I feel like, Jund, if you're not losing, you are winning. Yeah, I mean, that's generally pretty accurate. That's kind of the mantra. Of any control deck. Again, why this is called mid-range, and it definitely is mid-range to some degree, but also very much a control deck, is that, yeah, as long as you're alive, you are winning because eventually you will get to the point where you can win. They did station these a little bit wrong. If they wanted to go for an attack, they should have stationed this one first and then this one so this could attack, but I also don't know if they even cared to attack here. Next turn, if I don't get that Toxin, I think we're dead. Or if I could get something else, I could get the 4th Chrysalis. Cast down. So I could block, cast down, we die. Unless I play Krark to chump, which I guess I need to now. Alright, we're still not dead. We only have 4 artifacts, so it's not like I can really wipe their board. Candy Trail. Should probably also play a little faster. We're down 6 minutes. They have another ornament. But we did win game 1, so if I just don't go to time, I could probably maybe win there. Well, I could maybe get there. Okay, let's cast this down. I know I want to do that. I want to block the flyer and chump 2 of these. And I take 5. I mean, I guess we're dead next turn if I don't draw. All of these are lethal, so I need, like, a lot of things. That is medium. Well, it's good, but perfect. Draw me into something other than card draw, please. Krark. If I find Toxin here... Here's the thing. If I find Toxin, which would be great, that's not it. If I find Toxin, I'm actually not casting it on Krark. I'm casting it on Chrysalis, I think. So I have one shot, which is to find Toxin off this Wellspring. And maybe I do use it on the Krark. That's tough. Pinnacle Killship, of course. If they cast that in response on the Krark, I will sack this. See what we draw. Oh my god, I did it. Yeah, I think I need to wipe the board, actually. I think I have to do this. As much as I'd like to do it on the Chrysalis, we need their creatures to be dead. Now, can I kill them before they can kill me? Maybe. I have a Chrysalis in hand. They have an ornament, though. Oh my gosh. That was incredible. I don't know if we're going to win, but... And that's why we bestow, folks. Oh, they have a Wretched Griff. I mean, I guess I have flying, or I have reach for that, but Toxin would also give you the 5th artifact to kill the Boulder Branch. That is true. I could have done that, but oof, that's a good draw. I mean, we're doing this. I think I'm cracking this clue right away. They didn't station this, which is good. We have 6 minutes. Okay, so I can attack. Yeah, we can attack here. If they get a way to station this, I can cast it down. This can block the Griff. Now we just got to get him down from 60. The skill to draw Toxin at the last possible moment. Yeah, that was skill. So much skill went into me not drawing it for the previous 16 turns. They got a Colossus. Come on. Into a Boulder Branch. We're still going to die is the unfortunate part about all that. Until he draws a Fireball and it's all over. Could be. Not a lot of Monstertron decks play Fireball. I know one of the top 64 decks in the Paupergeddon did, but I like that they're attacking with both. That lets me eat the Griff for free. You can deck him. Potentially, if I can survive long enough. I mean, this Hydra does block. If I don't get a good attack here, obviously I'm blocking. They are drawing a few more cards. They've got to be close to out of creatures, but I would bet there's still like 4 or 5 more that I have to deal with, which is a lot. We had a chance to really gain that much with Boulder Branch. I think if they just didn't draw creatures for the next like 5 turns, I would have maybe been able to attack for lethal. But yeah, I think we're going for the Deckham plan. Unfathomable Truths. Rush of Knowledge. Okay, we're probably dead because they drew so many cards, but they're at 7 cards now, so maybe we can deck them. Although they'll probably stop drawing with the ornament, so there'll be 7 more turns I have to survive. That's so many turns. Looks like maybe they do have a Fireball. How's the Wildfire going? It's going all right. We made a sick play that's not going to matter because we're just dying to a Carevex Torch. Yeah, they did get it. Okay. Well, that was still sick, if in vain. Do I want Duress? I think that's the only question. We just need to have a better early game of more Wildfires and stuff. I think that's it. 53 was winnable, but 59 is just too much life. I mean, I agree with you there. That's like almost 10% more, you know? Duress sounds good, not gonna lie. Yeah, it seems okay. I just don't know what to cut for it. Like, I would definitely, if we just had some, like a Wellspring or something, I would have kept that in a heartbeat. All right, here we are. I think I'm getting rid of Krark. Clearly, it doesn't do anything. No, I just need the land drops. There's a map. All right, just give me a Wildfire next turn. Turn 1, Duress their map. Watch them concede. That would be great. It's just after turn 1, Duress loses so much value. Again, if I had something that I wanted or was more willing to cut, I would do it. But I just did not. All right, give me Wildfire. That's not a Wildfire. Well, we got rid of the Krark, but we have Toxin. I'm going to just hold on to that until I get another Krark. I don't think there's... I mean, part of me wants to send it off here just so I can draw a card, but I think I might need it. Pinnacle Killship. Come on, dude. Stop blowing up my creatures. I wish I had the insight when they did that. I should maybe have just held this back to chump and then sacrifice. Well, they're having a pretty good turn, aren't they? Or a pretty good start. Yeah, I'm going to have to sack a land here, and I would have preferred to sack the Familiar and not take the damage. I guess I could still sack the Familiar, but I need the Familiar for the Toxin. We're going to do this now in case I get a kill spell, but yeah. I mean, that was definitely a mistake because I could have had one more land chumped. We can do this, but if I draw land, maybe we're okay. I can block here, trade, unless they have another kill ship, which I guess they can't cast now, but unless they have a crop rotation. Oh, look, there's the crop rotation. Russian knowledge. Well, I don't think we're going to deck them in this game, and them drawing 8 cards is pretty bad for us. Bonder's Ornament. The first game went really well, and the second game went well for a while. There's a Troublemaker Roof. All right, we are dead, unfortunately. Last round here, kind of mulligan. This one's fine. It is kind of a bad matchup. It seems all right. I mean, definitely not the best. If we're able to Wildfire and keep them off Tron, I think it's like decent, but we also then need to have the follow-up of Chrysalises, which we were able to do in game 1, but not game 2 or 3. So, kill spell? No. Get rid of a Chris. Landscape. You weren't dead. Oof the Colossus block. I didn't have green mana, so I couldn't cast the Oof, unfortunately. We'll see if we get... Okay, Chrysalis isn't the worst. Is there another place than Metafy to find top-tier player guides? I found your White Weenie one and the one from Drugon, Dimir Terror. Site seems to bug out when adding a payment method. I don't know anything about that. Certainly you could contact a support or something. I mean, there's other places. Like, a lot of people have just done them in their own, like, PDFs or whatever, and you message them on Twitter or Blue Sky, and they'll send them to you if you buy them. But other than that, I don't know. I think Metafy is the main place that I've seen. I mean, some people have them on like Patreon, like I know Cali Guys does. So it just depends on where they're hosting them. Like I write all of mine in like a Google Doc, but then I transfer it to Metafy. Yeah, but also you can if you buy it, you can read the Google Doc too if you prefer, because it can be easier to navigate sometimes. Yes, that would make things difficult. Yeah, exactly. The Oof, I thought for a second was like a not a bad draw, but no green mana did not help. They just have like an Avenging Hunter on turn 3. Classic. Turn 3 Avenging Hunter. And also Chrysalis Repurposer and Arbor Elf. Was Callie's arms swole? Yes, he was very buff, I will say. Maybe that's the thing that surprised me the most. I didn't realize how jacked he was. What could we possibly find? I guess if I find Krark, I could wipe the board. All right, we're dead. I see a professional Gruul player right there. Yeah, definitely paid for the premium package. Terminate. Nothing's amazing. I mean, like if they were on Panza, I would duress, but I didn't see any Panza, and we saw Repurposer, which is not always in there. Oof. They don't usually play Hydra anymore, so it only hits the land rampers. Oh, but I guess they also started playing a couple Bonder's Ornaments, so maybe Oof's okay, and it's just a cheaper creature. You should include your Metafy with your other socials in the YouTube description. It took me a bit to find it the first time. That's fair. I should put it down there. I usually put it in the description of every video, but I specifically call it out near to the top. But that's a good point. Maybe I should just have it down there. Certainly not trying to hide it. Appreciate people trying to find it. Breath Weapon, every once in a while I can do something, but not really. I think it's just these and the Terminate for the spell bombs. We just try to find Krark Toxin, as we've been trying to do for the past match and a half. But I'm not going to ship away a hand like this. This is too good. Although I guess I might want to Wildfire their land, depending on, like, if they play a enchantment on it right away, I probably do just Wildfire them. Like, it's tough. Of course, we want to gain our own mana, but the big thing about their deck is they don't play any... They pretty much play no 2-drops, except for, like, some Rumbles. So if you're able to just make it so they lose a turn, basically, it's like a time walk, right? They could maybe play some more Wild Growths or whatever, you know, Utopia Sprawl. They also might have been banking on that if they don't have another land. Okay, Wildfire. Okay, I guess we're just playing a refurb. I'd love to do something more to take advantage of their slower start now, but I guess a refurb is fine. But I guess they were going to have a hard time even if I didn't blow up their land, because turn 2, maybe they have a Rumble, and they were banking on that to find their land. Yeah. Didn't find a land, though, unless they drew one naturally. Altasaur, Wild Growth, Arbor Elf. Nope. All right, Chris. That's pretty good, too. Wellspring. We'll just hold up, draw spells. They do find a forest. Wild Growth, trying to space them out, so I can't Wildfire all of them away. Would you run Okiba main deck now in Fairies? Yeah, I thought they might. So they are Panza. I'm just going to sack this. Yeah, I think I made a joke about it because of Bosch and Roll's list. I don't actually think that I love it main deck. There are definitely times where it could be really good, but it's really expensive, and there are so many matches where it's just not very good. We're gonna map here. We found the forest. Should have done that first, because then I wouldn't have needed to play this landscape to find the forest, but that's okay. Because I wanted to make sure I can play Chrysalis next turn. I can still just sack this. You have up Insight. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I would actually do Okiba main deck. I played, what, 8 rounds? I guess 9 rounds because I got knocked out immediately. 9 rounds, and I only brought it in 3 times. And I went up against a different deck every single round of the tournament. So I played against a wide variety of things. I guess one round I ID'd, but I wouldn't have brought it in there either. So, yeah, I just think that you, like, as good as it is in certain matchups, mostly control matchups, there's a lot where you don't want it, so I don't think I would actually be bringing it in main deck. All right, we're 10 cards. Perfect. Refurb makes everything easy. I get to just play Chris, play Refurb, play a land, and I don't have to discard. Also, they have 1 card left in hand. Perfect. Discard a Thermokarst. I see. The times it would be bad outweigh the times it would be good. Yeah, I think so. A general rule of thumb is if a card gets sided, if there are more matchups where it gets sided out than it gets sided in, then why not just start it in your sideboard in the first place? That's not always the case because sometimes a card is so good in certain matchups that you want a main deck anyway. But yeah, but Okiba is, I would bring it in against control and some mid-range opponents, but I don't think I need it against, you know, you don't want it against Madness or, you know, Rally, White Weenie, anything like that. So I brought it in against Black Green Turbo Fog, Golgari Gardens, and Azorius Familiars. And I think those are the only matches where I would want it that I had played against. Sometimes it's bad, but that's what Brainstorm is for. Half joking. No, I mean, you're somewhat right. Like Brainstorm, Preordain, other cantrips and things like that. Absolutely, you can play more like sideboard cards, quote unquote, in your main deck because of cards like Brainstorm that makes it so that you can shuffle them away, right? If you're playing against a deck like Gruul Monsters or Ponza, you don't have any card selection, so every card you draw needs to be generically good in the first match. But yeah, if you're playing a blue deck with a bunch of cantrips and Brainstorms, you can absolutely play some of those, but I still think it's not quite where I want to be. I mean, I think I just Hydra for 4 attack. If they block here, I Toxin and I win. If they block here, I can Toxin. They still go to 1 and I gain 10. I don't even need to Toxin, I guess. I guess actually I should have just done 1 more here because then they would have had to chump. No, they have Spawn. That's fine. They go to 1 here. And then they have to have like a kill spell or something for this because otherwise I get to just Toxin, trample over. There's no way they can block at all. Currently, there's no way they can survive anyway because their only reach creature to block the Refurb also is the only one with the toughness to block the Chrysalis, but I'll just see what their plan is here. They could have like a Bolt or a Ram Through or something, or they could just forget how Trample works. To Glamour. Okay. They didn't forget how Trample works. Look at that. All right. Well, I'll still Toxin this then. They'll trade. Crack a Clue. I don't need to crack a Clue. I can hold up this Insight, actually. And I'll play this Troublemaker Roof because it's a lethal attacker. Although now I'm not holding up the Insight, so that was a goofy thing to do. I'll do this because if I get a Krark, that's also a lethal attacker. All right. Hold up Offering. Boarding Party is pretty good. To Glamour is fine. I mean, they could take out a bridge. I get to just Offering it. Might as well. They're attacking. That's aggressive. That's probably the right choice. If they have any shot of winning here, they need to get some damage on us. All right, there we go. Krark, white for 1, attack for lethal. I guess they are Ponza, so maybe I should bring in some Duress instead of... Yeah, whatever, it's fine. I only saw 1 Ponza spell. No, I guess they discarded a Thermokarst. Yeah, I should have brought in a couple of those then. We have some indestructible lands, but the Distortion gets through that, and also if we just get a hand without them, we're going to be in trouble. Perfect. Well, I guess we're going to keep this and hope they have a slow start and also don't blow up any of our lands, including to Glamour. I'm going to predict we're already dead, but I'm mulligan to 5. I'm not sure what else you're supposed to do. Mulligan to 4. Good call. Should have done that. I mean, I could play a Twisted Landscape, which can't get blown up, which I probably should, because then if I draw a 2-drop, I could at least play it, but it felt like, what was the point yet? But I don't know. I certainly should have. It was a mistake. Now I'm going to play it because I can maybe get a Vault or a Refurb down turn 2, but if they have any follow-up at all, like a Boarding Party, we're already dead, and if they just have a Declamor, we're still dead. Oh, they didn't have a Declamor. That's nice. They have a Boarding Party into an Arbor Elf. So we're dead next turn because that's 10. All right, we're dead. I mean, we didn't play that perfectly, but also I'm not sure there was anything we could have done. Land Destruction is a fair and fun mechanic. Unbanned Sinkhole. I think Land Destruction in its current form is, I wouldn't say fun, but I would say fair. There's a lot of drawbacks to it. I think Sinkhole is way too far, obviously. All right, this deck is sweet. I mean, it's Jund, obviously. No munitions. Still pretty interesting. Like, I didn't necessarily felt like we were missing it. There were definitely some times, I mean, in game 1 or match 1 against Fairies, it was like, well, this would be really good to have. But also we won that match and didn't really need it, so maybe it's not something necessary. I'm sure this will have a little bit of a ripple effect of people trying lists without makeshift munitions, as it should, because maybe it's not as much of a cornerstone as we thought it was for the deck. Hydra is still really good. I definitely forgot how good Hydra is, and probably will go back to playing at least one in my deck. Blood Fountain was pretty good too, but again, like, doesn't always seem necessary, so I'm not sure that needs to be in the deck, but like Hydra was good for sure. We were missing Gixian a little bit, like just not having quite as many creatures, especially like we are a mid-range / control deck. We're in no way an aggro deck, but having the ability to be a little aggressive with a Gixian can be really strong in certain matchups, like if we're against Tron and we're able to blow up their first Tron land or whatever, slowing them down and then being able to kill them with like a Gixian is really good. So there's definitely some reasons why you should still maybe play that. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, deck is sweet. Congrats again to Ian Plocky, who took first place at Paupergeddon. If you're watching the YouTube video, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.